quite straightforward. Take out a bias tape. No need to sew this up, but I'm showing you only. Okay? Or you want to sew this? No. I know. I don't know how lah. Later your final, I'm not gonna tell you how to sew. You're going to figure out how to sew.
She say coming.
So, let's say it's the same thing here as well. I'm gonna draw a straight line here. Okay, right. So I'm gonna show you, one is with the sleeve placket, the other one is just with the bias tape here. For the bias tape, right, all you need to do is just put this here. Here's the wrong side. I'm sewing it from the wrong side. Oh damn, this bias tape is not nice to use. Okay. Just sew it here. But when it comes to somewhere here, right? Okay, when it comes to somewhere here, you have to actually start to cut it. Actually, you need to cut first. Never mind, I'll just cut from here. I'll cut the middle line here. You need to cut first. Okay. Once you sew to here, when it comes to the point here, right, you see this point here, we will start to sew this bias tape very close to the point already. Very close to the point, meaning it will be something like this here. Okay, and then we pull this straight. Then we sew this to here. Okay, so once this is done, just cut it off. Okay, you have this bias tape here sewn to here already. So this is the wrong side. Then you flip it to the right side here. Okay. Sometimes they will just do this top stitch only. Top stitch meaning, damn, this bias tape is not nice to use. Never mind. I'm gonna conquer. Okay, if you are doing bias tape, this is how you're gonna finish. Have you sewn bias tape like this before? No. For? Because I teach you to sew, right? Okay, so then this is how you sew it, right? This is the right side. Then you have something like this, right? So usually what they'll do is they'll actually push this in, match it back to here, and then they'll sew a triangle shape here. Go and see more clothes, okay, y'all? The clothes is not just on the digital screen. Go and feel, touch the 5 senses, but don't eat the clothes. Go and feel, smell, touch, see. Smell, you can still smell. Taste cannot. Taste is very subjective. Ooh. Okay, please don't go and see clothes. Okay, I want you all to see how things are being finished. So if it is bias tape, usually they'll finish it this way, and they will just sew like this. If it is bias tape, okay, then you open up to a cuff. Women's wear a lot like this. Women's wear usually they'll do like this. And if let's say it's chiffon, chiffon blouse with the bishop sleeve, right? They will actually do with this finishing rather than the sleeve placket. Okay. Now I'm going to show you sleeve placket because this is more common to menswear. Common to menswear. So we need to find where is the push point here. So if the push point is here, show you the pattern piece first. I already labeled them. Your pattern piece here. I have 5 pattern piece. Label means I put it as a set. Set A, A1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 5 pattern pieces you need to cut. Okay. Now this 3 pattern piece is with interfacing. So this one you need to cut interfacing. Don't cut fabric first. Okay. But these 2 you can cut the fabric. Fabric meaning to say this is your muslin. This is your muslin. This don't cut first. But you cut your interfacing because later we need to iron it to the fabric. Okay, so this one I don't talk about it first. I talk about this here first. Okay, so now you have this here. This pattern I've already cut. This marking here transfer to the wrong side here. You have this little push point here to the back. Then this part here, which is your sleeve placket. Your sleeve placket, right, will be this pattern. But what I want you to do is I want you to refer here. Okay. Actually, I put the wrong indication here. Your interfacing shouldn't be here. Your interfacing should be here. Okay. So what you need to do is, if I flip this to this side, right, we are going to iron it on the wrong side. When you iron it to the wrong side, we need this entire part here. This part here. This part here to be interfacing all the way down to a seam allowance. So what I did was, I've already ironed this with the interfacing with not including seam allowance. Do not include the seam allowance. Okay, but the bottom part here will include the seam allowance a little bit. Okay, so once you have this ready, you iron it to here. Then the next step is draw this square piece here. This square piece with the center line here is as if you are sewing your belt pocket. Remember the belt pocket? You have a Y shape. Actually here you should draw something like a Y shape, but no need to draw first. Later when you cut, only you can cut the Y shape. So what you do now is transfer this to here as well. Your middle point of this notch here, right? This middle point notch also, you mark it to here because this point will actually match it back to this. So which means this is the wrong side of the fabric. This point here will match it back to here. Can see, right? Again, A, match this point and this point together. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this to here. And what you need to do is you're gonna sew this from the wrong side. You have this wrong side here, but the right side is facing wrong side here now. Okay, your sleeve placket right side is facing the wrong side. Then you say, how come is this? Wait, hold on. Wait until I finish sewing first, then you understand. Okay, and it comes to here, then you do a right angle here, sew to the other side. So already, right, the rectangle shape. So what you do is cut in the middle here. Remember the belt pocket, we cut a Y shape next to the stitching line. Don't go over it. If you go over it, your stitching line will be you have already cut the stitching line, then you have to stitch again next to it. Then all you need to do is just push this in like your belt pocket, push it to here. Okay, something like this. Okay, so let me go and iron first. Stop it. So what I did here is I already iron. Iron meaning to say remember like a belt pocket you iron. So then you iron the seam allowance there here that you have. The seam allowance here that you have here is I put 2 cm here. Sometimes some people put 3 cm, but I think 2 cm is good enough already. Meaning to say I'm gonna iron 1 cm and I'm gonna iron 1 cm and then this is finished nicely. So if you see here, right, when I push this from inside out just now, I push it into here. Here's the right side already. All I did was I pressed here open seam, then I close this to the seam line, and then I close this to here. You have a very nice seam already here. Nicely done, all done already. Then here you press nicely for the rectangle shape. Then here is 3 cm, similar to our placket size, 3 cm, 3 cm. Then this is where your placket is, right? You fold this in, iron here nicely, your 1 cm. The upper part here also iron it nicely. Then you have something like this. Then what you do with the rest here, you go and iron nicely. Then when this close to the other side, well, you'll be closing like this. Can see, right, the placket. Okay. So what we have here is once you finish ironing, right, sometimes you find this part here has a lot of fabric. Has a lot of fabric meaning to say, when I push this to here, you have a lot of fabric here that is not necessary. Okay. So when you cut, I want you to cut. Cut with caution. With waspada. How do I say? Be careful. Huh? Be careful when you cut this. When you cut here, right? You see what I'm cutting here is I'm cutting this off, and then what I do is when it comes to here, I have this fold line here, right? This part here also I have to cut it off because this is the fabric that I don't need. This part of the fabric, because I folded here, you reduce the thickness of the placket here. See the edges here, I have 1 cm, here 1 cm. Okay, meaning to say here, if you want to cut a little bit, cut as well. You're reducing the fabric a little bit. Then I close this back. First thing first is I don't sew here first. I push this back to here. I need to sew here first. Some people will not leave 1 cm here. They will actually sew 0.5 here. Okay. If you find you want to sew 0.5, it's also okay. But I think this 1 cm is still fine. You can sew at 1 cm. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch here at 1 cm. Done. Clean line, edges all nicely done. Finish ready. Then the next thing you do is you put this down. Now another thing that you need to be aware of is this part here. That's my friction band. Okay. Be aware of meaning to say I have this rectangle shape here, right? The top stitching line will be above here. Above here, somewhere here. Above this area, somewhere here. So how do I see? I put this down. If you want to extend this longer, I want to see this part here is going to be top stitch here. Okay, top stitch here. Because this line here, I'm going to top stitch in order for me to seal this little small hole here. Little triangle shape here. So from the rectangle shape here that you move up by 0.2 cm, you mark something here first, then you transfer this marking to here. This marking, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do reverse stitch from here, so all the way up to here. And then when you sew to the corner here, make sure you have your tweezer here to push all these corners inside. Then you stitch from here to here, here to here, here to here, then last is here to here. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll go up again, another 0.5, then they'll stitch here. Then this is how you finish it. Okay, so I'm going to show you here. First thing first is I'm going to stitch from here. Easy or not? Hard. Hard? Easy? Don't know until you try. Actually, this machine alignment I don't like. It's like the machine alignment is exactly next to the footer. So when I top stitch this, right, I don't know where to refer. The alignment of this machine is very close to here. You see, that's why the stitches are not neat. Come to here, then this part here go down. Then use your tweezer to push in. Make sure the angle are right angle. Did you sew this also? No. Never, right? Or you want to just keep it to the bias tape? Bias tape? Easier? Bias tape easier, right? This one harder, right? Or the one to sew is better? Just buy H&M. Huh? Uniqlo, H&M. Shit, I think my bobbin no more thread already. Is it? Bobbin more thread already. No, I think it's fine. Okay, so this one is a finished bracket already. So when you open this up, this part here is sealed off. Okay? Not done yet, ah? Belum habis lagi. Okay? Don't think it's very easy. After your placket is done, this is the placket, right? All you need to do is just sew here at 1 cm. Please go to the teaching evaluation complaint. Vincent gave me a lot of stitching assignments.
Why?
1 cm.
Why?
Why? So I don't need to teach you this already, lor. Maybe they'll put me to teach. I'll put myself to teach history. I'll put myself to teach history next time. I'm more willing to teach history, please. I'm tired of teaching this already. Because you are also tired already, ma. Maybe you get another lecturer tell you, oh, you just watch YouTube. YouTube has a tutorial already. Then teach you menswear. Oh, this is sleeve bracket. I send you the link, you go and sew. Much easier. I think I should do something like that.
Next batch.
Huh?
Try on the junior batch.
Yeah, try on the junior.
Experiment.
Yeah.
Okay, this one done already, not done yet. Pull this out. This is your sleeve already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually the sleeve is, this part here is facing the back. That's why this part here, right, is actually my right sleeve. Right sleeve here. The bigger part here will be facing the back. And then you have your underseam here. You see this underseam? Okay. So this part will be covering to here. So the next thing is your cuff here. My cuff here, the interfacing, I cut the interfacing as it is without any seam allowance. So I iron. Usually what we'll do is we actually don't go and cut the pattern and fuse this here. We usually straight away trace the pattern of the interfacing. We take the interfacing, iron it to here. Then we just use our pen to draw 0.5 or 1 cm. Here 1 cm, then we can just cut this off already. Easy. Instead of cutting so many fabric and interfacing, we just cut one interfacing and we don't have to trace the pattern piece, we immediately cut it this way. So the seam allowance here, you can leave it at 0.5 is good enough, okay? Because when you sew later, right, I'm going to tell you what you need to do. The edges here, all on the corners here, this will be 0.5. Only the bottom part here is 1 cm. This one I put it one way, the other side first. Okay. So when you're stitching this, right, most of the times when you're stitching this, first thing first, we take the one with the interfacing. Down there, no interfacing. Here with interfacing, I want you to fold this up, fold the seam allowance up, and then we're gonna stitch here at 0.5. What you can do is just go and iron first. Okay, first thing first is you do a top stitching line of 0.5 here. Okay, then you place this back to here. Now, the little trick that I will always use is I want to make sure the bottom part of my cuff is always hidden underneath. Underneath meaning when this cuff is worn, right, this cuff is going to be curved. When this cuff is curved, it is the same idea again, or the same concept. Meaning to say, if a round circle, right, the outer circle will be bigger, the inner circle will be smaller. Imagine this is the orange. Your orange peel will be bigger, your orange will be smaller, right? So what I'm trying to do here is when I'm sewing this, what is going to be on top? My interfacing, right? Not my one with no interfacing. The no interface is going to be inside. So what I'm going to do is when I'm pinning this down, I will still pin down the middle part here. I'm going to pin down the middle part here. Middle part meaning I'm going to pin down here. And when I stitch this here, right, what I'll do is my finger will, I'm going to pull, if not you use a tweezer, I'm going to pull the bottom cuff out. You see a little bit. I'll pull it out a little bit. So when I stitch here, right, I'm stitching this beside the interfacing, and you'll see the bottom cuff here, fabric is coming out extra. I'm stitching it next to the interfacing. Okay? Challenging, huh? That's why I go and complain me. Vincent like to give me a lot of tricks. I don't want all these tricks. Can teach me all these old tricks. You cannot teach a new dog's old tricks. Is that what you say? Okay, so then I sew it all the way. Can you see or not the fabric here? I pull out a little bit, just a little bit, by 0.2, 0.3 only. A little bit of the fabric I pull out. Okay, then here I don't pull out, and then you see naturally cannot. I still have to pull out. Pull out meaning to say is I'm gonna still pull. It's the same as well. Here I'll pull out by 0.2, 0.3. And then you'll find that the bottom fabric here is smaller. The upper cuff there is curving out. So what I do now is when I flip this inside out, okay, everything will mesh it back to here, and then you try to iron it flat. And when we sew this curve back to the original shape of our cuff, right, you'll see it matches back together already. See, it matches back together. The whole idea is just like when you're saying about the orange peel, your orange needs to be smaller than the skin. If your fabric is thicker, like wool, right, you have to even take in more. Because now cotton sometimes I take in 0.2. But if it is wool fabric, wool sometimes the thickness is 0.3, 0.4. all the way to the other side. But you'll see, why there's a lot? Actually, it's quite common because calf sometimes we'll do a pleat on this side here. So we match from the inner placket here first. How do I know this is the inner placket? The smaller one will be the inner placket. The bigger one will be the outer placket. So you match here to here first. All this area you match. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, it's bigger by 3 cm. Actually, no more than that. This is bigger by, you can use measurement to measure here. Five cm. Bigger by 5 cm because I match back all the edges here. Here is bigger by 5 cm, right? So what you do is you just do a marking here from the top placket here. I can leave a 2 cm here with a notch here, 2 cm a notch, and then add another 5 cm, which is the pleat, to be my second notch. 5 cm to be my second notch. So what I'll do is this both notch here will actually fold this up to a 1 inch pleat, right? Then I matched all of this together. You match it back to this part here. Okay, what you can see is this part here where the 5 cm is your pleat. So when I put this down later, you will see there's a pleat here at the bottom. I have to actually sew from the wrong side. I have to sew from the wrong side, sorry. You get what I mean, right? Once you measure the entire circumference, if you are bigger by 5 cm, right, that will be the pleat size. Your pleat size for your sleeve here. You have a pleat something like this. Some of them, they won't do 5 cm. They will do 2 cm, 3 cm. 2 cm, 3 cm meaning, let's say I do now 2 cm, 3 cm. I will put a 2 cm here. I leave it to you, this one, if you want to do 2 cm, 3 cm, or just 5 cm. But this is just an exercise. You can just do 5 cm straight away. So let's say here, I put 2 cm. Then I put another 2 cm gap. Then I put a 3 cm. Because I know my entire measurement is 5 cm. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll fold this to 2 cm first. Fold this to 2 cm. And then I'll fold this another 3 cm, which is here. Then you have 2 pleats here. Sometimes they do 1 pleat, sometimes they do pleat. I'm not sure. See yours, Andy. 2, I think, or just 1. I think just 1. Sometimes they do 2. Okay, this one I leave it to you. 这么这样长的线，哪里来的？Okay. Here done already. Okay, so you have your calf here done with this really. Understand? So then you see here, you don't have extra fabric here because we already removed the 0. Actually, we removed by 0.4 only. The entire circumference here we removed by 0.4. So you don't have like extra fabric a lot at the bottom. That's why I said when you're doing this right, we are trying to be smart at it, just to understand. Okay, so this one done. Should I proceed the collar?
Yes.